here's how you know that someone's probably a good fit is if you're talking to them and they're blowing you away with like, oh, this is what I do. This is like, here's this one thing. And it's like, wow, I would have never thought of that. Like, this is why you need to be in this seat and not me, because you're excited about this. You're like nerding out on it. And I love that.
You're asking yourself, why am I doing this?
Smart people would know how to use all these different tools. They
start with something small.
And never get your entire organization if you don't pull off operations.
Don't give up.
It can be as small as that.
I think you guys are going to have our last today.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Delegate That podcast. I'm your host, 𝗟𝗶𝘀𝗀𝗃, and today I am excited to talk to Tim Woodbridge. He is a real estate investor, mobile home park guy, so really looking forward to digging into that a little bit. But here on the Delegate That podcast, we discuss the art and science of delegation, business, management, and leadership, and Tim is going to be a wealth of knowledge in a lot of these categories today. So, Tim, if you can, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us about what you got going on.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me on. So I'm Tim Woodbridge. I run a real estate investment firm that focuses on mobile home parks. We're all about giving, 2x equity multiple, so doubling someone's money over 5 years through cash flow and appreciation, and giving people a ton of year one depreciation through tax write-offs. But yeah, I'm a retired nurse. I was a nurse for a while. I live in Charleston, South Carolina. It's an amazing place if y'all haven't been. And, delegating things to people has really been like a key. For a long time, it was mostly me doing things. And then it was me and a bookkeeper. And then it was me and a property management assistant. And now it's me and a whole team. So like everyone's really working on what they're best at. And one of my favorite revelations was while reading Dan Martell's Buy Back Your Time, realizing, man, I can do a whole ton of things, but I kind of suck at a lot of these things. So, getting my bookkeeper on and being like, oh, he's so much better at it than I am. Like, this is the key. It's not that I need to work harder. I need to work smarter. So God, thank you so much for helping me realize about delegating.
Do you feel overwhelmed with mundane tasks that eat up your valuable time? It's time to reclaim your schedule and focus on what truly matters. Get your time back with elite remote talent without the time zone hassle. Delegate $10 an hour tasks to focus on more $1,000 an hour tasks. Schedule your free strategy call at 𝗺𝗷𝘁𝗀𝗃.io.
Dan Martell will definitely do that to you as you read those books and kind of figure out what's going on. So when you read that, kind of what were some of the real highlights for you that you were like, oh boy, buy back my time. I've heard great things about it. Let me read it, see what it is. What were some of the highlights that really stuck out to you to go, oh wow, these are things I didn't even think about delegating that I'm doing? So
really, the big thing is the delegation ladder, and just like, okay, it's not like, well, I got to delegate everything. It's like, no, let's make a plan for it. So, the first thing we did was hire out, get that executive assistant. And so I'm good at like following step by step. If you lay things out really simplistically, I can follow that. So executive assistant. And then, the second thing he's talking about is delivery. And for us, for mobile home parks, it's really having solid operations. And so my partner is he was a COO of a company and now is working full time for WCG Investments, and he's all about. Oh my God, he's so good at operations. It's so amazing. So that's the delivery system, right? So it's not like I'm hiring someone as much as I partner with someone who's really good at it. And like I used to hate. Or I used to really dislike meetings because they'd be rambling. I ramble. This it's not on anyone other than me. I'll take the blame. But he really helps to, like, we have EOS. So like it's a really good system. Our meetings are really like to the point. But like we still joke a little. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not like it's getting rid of the humanity. It's like let's keep that there a little bit, but also let's make sure that we're getting the things done we need to get done. So that, that's the second rung, the operations for us, and making sure that everything's running well so we can get our investors the returns that we're promising. Um, and then, from there, it's marketing. And this is, we just hired a marketing VA. So like for the past few months, I've been going down rabbit holes of like, okay, let's run this business as a business, because it's easy to be like, and this is how I've been for the past so I've been in the business 5 years since I bought my first park. For the last, like the first 4 years, I was like, well, we just need to buy more real estate. And like, it's not more complicated than that. And it really left it so, okay, like how can we do this? And so, you get to the point, well, we need capital. Okay, how can we get capital? And then really, with the help of some of my friends in Action Academy and like Brian Lubin and whatnot, realizing like, since we started syndicating our first deals last year and raising capital, like the investors are our customers, our clients, call it what you will, but these are the people we are serving. So, now with that realization being like, okay, this is a real estate investment firm. This is a real estate investment company, or a company that buys real estate. Okay, now I can get that marketing channel going. And like, okay, so I need to market towards investors. What are people looking for? And so doing a big deep dive on that for myself. And now we have a VA to kind of help funnel people into us so we can have more conversations with qualified people who are interested in investing in mobile home parks. So we're on 3. We have rung 3 that I'm working on, and then I'll be like the sales, and my partners will be the sales, and talking with people why this might be a good investment choice for them. It's not for everyone. We turn away people who, it's not a right fit. We don't need everyone. We want to work with the people who it's the right fit, both culturally and humanly, right? So like, one thing is I don't have to work with jerks. That's one of my favorite things. So, you can say you're going to write the biggest check in the world, but
I guess I'm out. Son of a gun.
Well, it's like you can give me all the money in the world, but if I can't stand being around you, like how does that fix anything for me? So yeah, so that's like, we got the marketing and they're funneling to the sales to me and my partners, so we can talk about, fixing investors' problems, which is, if you're interested, here's why we like it, here's why it might benefit you, and just, providing solutions to people. So we're in 3 of 5 rungs so far. So eventually, when we get big enough, then I'll be looking for more people to take the lead on investor relations and raising capital and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's crazy. There's so much, like, I would have never thought it would be this involved, and not in a bad way, in a good way, actually. Like, I love creating these really cool systems where everyone can be working on what they're amazing at. So like, I'm fine at marketing. I can go down rabbit holes. I can figure things out, but there's people that are way better. And, when we were talking with our VA, when we were interviewing him, and here's how that someone's probably a good fit, is if you're talking to them and they're blowing you away with like, oh, this is what I do. This is like, here's this one thing. And it's like, wow, I would have never thought of that. Like, this is why you need to be in this seat and not me, because you're excited about this. You're like nerding out on it. And I love that. And so, it took us after the interview, I think we had one phone call, my partner and I, and we're like, so him? And we're like, yep, let's hire him right now. And so, like it was I don't know. I mean, I haven't worked with this guy yet, but I think he's going to be really good. And just interviewing a ton of people and seeing that, like, that gut feeling. Like we always say, I don't want to tell anyone what to do. I want people to tell me what we need to be doing as a company. And those are the people that we're hiring. And those are the buy back your time people,
Yeah, I was listening to, I'm trying to blank on his name, Impact Theory. I can't think of his name right now, but it'll come to me. But he was talking about how he's the guy who created Quest, the Quest bars and all that type of stuff. But Tom Bilyeu, there we go. So Tom Bilyeu, he was talking about when you're interviewing folks, he's like, I really try to, if I'm hiring somebody to do something technical, I should probably have a good knowledge of at least an understanding what it is, and then I'll ask a situational question. Hey, if I'm creating this YouTube video, what's more important? Like, is it the views or is it the subscribers? You tell me what it is. And then if that person can actually break down the difference and why one thing is important over the other, that tells you, okay, this person has actually been doing it. They're going through it, because a resume can only tell you something. But when you're actually, you're just saying there, when you're interviewing somebody and they're like, hey, this is what I would do. This is how I would do it. And you're like, boy, that actually makes sense in what I'm doing. Which is why I always encourage folks to do situational based interview questions, not just, tell me about yourself, like tell me situational stuff. This is what we have going on in my company. What do you think? Because it makes a huge difference in the response. Now, one thing you talked about is you kind of shifted a little bit going through Action Academy, which Brian Liu was an awesome dude. So I'm glad to hear you kind of running through there. So, you kind of shifted the thought process of, okay, now I'm talking to, this is an investment company. Are you planning to at some point kind of separate, because you have almost two different companies when you're doing syndications? You have one company that's managing investors and one company that's managing investments. How have you kind of looked at those two side by side to be able to make sure that the operations guy knows how to operate in managing investments and in managing investors? And, what are your thoughts on kind of that separation there?
So, I mean, everything's in-house, right? So like, there's no like, this company is doing one thing and the other company is doing another. It's like, no, it's all in-house. We're all like on the same page in terms of let's run these parks because it makes our investors a ton of money. It makes us a ton of money, and it makes it a nicer place to live for the tenants. So like, yes, we have someone who's taking leadership of investor relations. We have someone who's taking leadership over operations, but like we have calls together all the time. There's no like disconnect there. It's not like, it's like every decision we make is to make it so everything's operating like up to an amazing a level where like we run these things really well, and we improve them and we increase the value. And, so our operations guy is who's doing the underwriting as well. And it's all like conservative. We're all looking at things. We're all on the same page. And so we can say, reasonably we can get this return. And again, we only do deals that give 2x equity multiple. We double people's money through cash flow and appreciation over 5 years. So it's like, okay, well, here's the underwriting. Vinny, who's the investor relations person, Vinny and his wife Marianne take the underwriting and put that directly into the OM. So it's like, this is what we are projecting you're going to get in year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exit. So it's like, there's no disconnect there. And if there's any, there hasn't been yet, but if there's ever any like, oh, well, we're not able to pay what we said we were, we're going to have to shortchange the pref this time because of whatever thing's happening. Like Vinny and Marianne know that before anything else. Everyone's aware of how these assets are running. So there's no disconnect, and that is really working well to keep everyone on the same page and everyone rowing in the same direction.
Yeah, because I think that when you're able to focus, and everybody knows like this is an investment company, the goal is to earn money, and it's not at the expense of the tenants, but it is with the tenants, right? Because we have to we have to keep them as tenants. We need to keep them there. And a lot of people look at real estate investing, and they're like, oh well, you're just trying to get as much money out of the tenant as you can. It's like, well, no, like if we did that, then we would lose our tenants. We don't want to do that either, right? There's a certain balance that we have to do, but you have to keep up with the market. market. You have to understand where it's going. You have to know that you're going to be, because if I can't pay my tax bill and they, put a lien on my property, well, now I'm hurting everybody. I'm hurting the investors and the tenants. Like everybody's going to get hurt in this. So we have to be able to run it like a business. That's the way it kind of goes. As you were kind of looking at, hiring your first EA, your executive assistant, how did you work through that process? You're like, okay, man, I've never done this before. I just read this book. I know that I need to do this. What did that process look for you to say, okay, we need an EA, and let me go ahead and start this process?
I mean, I had hired just VAs for different things before, right? So like a bookkeeper, and then like I have hired different property management assistants and stuff like that. So like I had the experience, and I've hired a lot of people who didn't work. So, I knew what to look for in terms of, okay, well, like I get right now, they seem great, but like I have the experience where they seem great, and then like over time, they didn't work out as well. And so I knew a few things. I also read the book Who, which is a really good book, not Who, Not How, which is also a good book, but the book Who, which is all about finding, attracting, keeping top talent. And so like I had created scorecards and stuff like that based off that book. Really good book. And so I already had the experience. And then by the time I read Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell, I was like, okay, so my main partner, I have two main partners, but like Matthias, who's the operator guy. So he and I share an executive assistant. We both read Buy Back Your Time at kind of the same time. We're like, okay, this is the next thing we need. And so we were interviewing people, and it's 100% was hiring for that personality. So like Roel, who we have as an EA, he had experience doing it, but he has a like, I will get stuff done kind of a personality. He's bubbly, but not overly bubbly. Like he's friendly. He'll like laugh, but like during the interview, we're like, look, like this is kind of what we want. Like we have an idea, but we don't know exactly. And so like, we want you to tell us how to make things better. I don't want to hold someone's hand. I want you to hold my hand because I'm paying you. You hold my hand. Tell me how I can be better. And he does. And, we hired him pretty much the same way as like, same way as my marketing assistant. Like we hired pretty quick because we had already went through a decent amount of other people. And so we knew that he would work well, or, we had a feeling he would work well. So, I mean, we hired him, and we're like, okay, like Dan Martell gives away his like executive assistant playbook for free. I mean, follow him on Instagram. I think I got it. It's like a Google Doc that it's like, this is what they should be doing. And so I had Roel check that out, and it just, it was weird at first. It was weird having someone take over your email and calendar, and there's still more that I can give up. Like I sometimes I hold things, and it's like, okay, it takes me some time to really like loosen that grip, loosen, and, kind of let Roel take over more. But yeah, now I'm like, hey, can you get this scheduled? And he'll do it. Hey, he organized our inboxes like within the first week. And it's been a game changer that I didn't realize would be as much of a game changer as it is. And it's definitely a process because there's still, we're still learning through it. We're still making mistakes, and I mean, like little stuff, every once in a while, someone will be like, hey, did you get that email? And it's like, oh, Roel mislabeled it as something. So it's like, hey, bro, just so you know, this should be in full review, like something I see right away. And you'd get a little bit better every day. And if I could look back last year, this time last year, it was totally different. If I could look back 2 years ago, I mean, it was completely different. So, it's definitely kind of, the gap in the gain, where it's like, okay, if I look at where I am today versus where I was last year, like I'm super grateful that I'm here today.
So for those who are getting ready to hire a new EA, obviously you talked about Dan Martell's executive assistant playbook. That's something to definitely use. But what are some tools you would say or tips you would say to bring somebody on board in a more efficient manner? So I know for me, like I failed miserably the first two of them that I hired because I didn't know how to bring them on board. And I didn't say, like you said, like you need to be able to walk me down some of these paths. Like the third person I hired, I finally did. I put that right up front. I said, look, I don't know how to do your job. I know how to do my job. I need you to know how to do your job before I hire, which helped me out a ton. But what are some tips that you would tell somebody if they're hiring their first executive assistants to come in and say, hey, like, these are the things I would do up front. These are how I would prepare for it, whatever it is. What's the first few things come to your mind?
Yeah, well, and remember, I had some failed VAs, offshore assistants as well, doing different things, not executive assistant, but
well, I said those are all learning experiences too. They teach you on what to do for the next one. So
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so if someone's looking to hire an EA, I like hiring for values, for personality, and for like disc profile. So like for an EA, I need someone who's really like high C, because I'm a really low C. That's not my forte at all, man. And so and he is plus. So I need that high C who also I enjoy talking to. I don't want to be like, okay, well, this person's great at their job, but shit, I've got to talk to them today and I don't like talking to them anymore. That's not good. That's not good for anyone. So, so he's good at what he does. His personality's good. He's got a little sense of humor, and he's okay. When I told him up front, I want you to know your job and tell me what to do. So I'd say maybe those 4 things probably will help guide you to someone, and you'll get a lot of like people pleaser kind of, people that you're hiring. Like, okay, it's such a trip. I mean, I worked for other people for a majority of my life. Before this, I was a nurse for a long time. And like, it's just an interesting trip to me to see, like, be on the other side. And now I'm the one hiring. And like, you see people who are like trying to answer your questions as perfect as they think you're expecting. And then I remember like my first nursing job, I'm trying to like, oh, well, if I was in this situation, this is what would happen, sort of thing. And it's like, okay. Like I give people more grace because of it. I mean, they're not, I'm not going to hire them because of it, but I get it. I understand, I understand that nervousness.
So when you were interviewing your EA, what sort of questions did you ask? What you said you hired pretty quickly. What sort of questions did you ask that really let you go, yes, this is why we need to hire this person quickly? What sort of questions did you ask, and the responses that you got? I
mean, I'd honestly, I'd have to look at the scorecard to give you, like, so another thing, what y'all should do, like, put a scorecard together, have ChatGPT help you, like, with some pretty like targeted questions, and then create that scorecard. So, say there's like 8 questions, I'd rate them all 1 through 5, and my partner 𝗦𝗽cie would do the same. And then, so like, we hired Roel so quick because we had already seen and interviewed maybe 5 other people. So like, he was a clear winner, and then that on top of his personality was like pretty clear. But oh geez, I'd have to remember. 𝗦𝗽cie is big on like, give us a situation where something happened. My interview style is a lot of haphazard, like, well, this person needs to be really high C, so ask them something about organization, and I'm not the best at it, so don't get me wrong. But a lot of mine is also like, here's me. Like, I'm not going to change. I'm what you see is what you get. I swear a lot sometimes, but it's not like because I'm mean or like pissy. It's just a bad habit that I haven't broken yet. And so I'm like, this is who I am. This is what I'm looking for. I don't want anyone to be surprised about anything. So like, a lot of my interview is like, here's expectations. I think that might be, you know, me being a nurse for so long. I'm pretty good at setting people's expectations. You know, you I love a side note, like you go in to someone's room at like 7 a.m. and they're like, oh, the doctor said I could leave today. And it's like, okay, well, they're probably like, if that's true, then they got to put the orders in, and then all these other departments have to give their blessing, and we have to, like, you'll probably be gone by early afternoon, just to let you know. It's not a quick process. So like setting those expectations up front helps everyone be on the same page and like gets ahead of any pissiness from anyone because their expectations aren't being met, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I think that applies in business and in, you know, in your personal life as well, right? Like if you, and that's where a lot of, anytime you're kind of frustrated, it is almost always because things didn't turn out the way that you had it in your head that they were going to turn out. If you get angry at something, things didn't turn out the way you had it in your head. Where if you can lay it all out up front and say, hey, this is what we're looking at doing. And you know, that doesn't mean it's going to go that way, but at least we have some projections on where it's going to go. And then if we're all honest and open, it doesn't have to be in my head, it's out loud. So rather than leaving it in your head, how you think things are going to go, say it out loud. Let everybody understand what's going on. Let them understand. It gives them the best opportunity to be successful working for you. It gives you the best opportunity to not be angry and fire somebody who may be amazing because they didn't meet an expectation that you never put out of your mouth, right? So, you know, it goes back to, you know, I tell people when I'm coaching on dad stuff or I'm talking about business stuff, like communication. It's all about like open your mouth as much as you can on things that actually matter. So yeah, I love that you added that in there. So as you're continuing to build this out, and you said there's 2 more rungs, what are your next hires that you're looking at doing inside of your company, and what is your goal behind those hires?
So I mean, going back to the book, to buy back your time, I mean, the next is sales. You know, the next rung would be sales, and in my business, that is selling to investors. I mean, it's getting people to invest in. Obviously, it's not selling in the traditional way, but it's still, you know, make no mistake, it's providing value to customers, right? And that's what sales is, or that's what sales should be. So I know there's a ton of people who are like, just hire that out, but like yes, but first, I want us to get our hands on it. I want to understand. I mean, I've talked to a ton of investors already. I can talk about, you know, the pros and cons of mobile home parks, maybe why it works for some, why it doesn't work for others, whatever. You know, it's providing solutions. But so like, I want us to do that before really super looking for someone. I mean, I'm always keeping my eyes open. I'm always listening for people who might be better at this than I would be. I was talking with Brandon Turner. He was on one of the Action Academy podcasts, and then I went to his small group thing in Tahoe recently. And I was like, tell me more about your capital raiser, right? You know, whoever's taking leadership of that arm of the company. And he's like, oh yeah, this is my friend. Everyone likes him. Like that's his thing. Everyone likes him. And so it's like, oh, that's perfect. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for, you know, anyone who might be interested in it, who everyone likes. That's easy. I'm not actively looking for it because, again, I want us to really nail down like how we can best serve people before just like telling someone to do it. I want to be able to guide someone. But that will be our next, like after we really get that flywheel of people coming in and we're talking to a ton and we don't have the bandwidth to talk to as much people, then it'll be bringing in someone really nice who everyone likes. That's already a pleasant thing that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, for sure. And it's, you know, and to your point, it's not your traditional sales role, right? This is somebody you want internal, that's going to be a part of your team, that's going to be, because when you're talking to investors, it's very much a relationship thing. So you want to make sure that relationship stays intact. It's not just, all right, I've sold them, now they're on to the operations guy. No, like this is relationships, right? I mean, this is something that these people, do you remember their kids' names? Do you have it all written down? Do you understand? Do you have that ability to connect with folks on a different level when you're talking about investor stuff? So I love that. Yeah, investor relations is very different than just your normal sales stuff. So, all right. So I don't remember what the fifth rung is, but so sales is going to be the next one. What's the fifth one?
Leadership. So I don't know. That's so like, I don't know what it looks like yet. And like, that's okay. I have a mindset coach through Jason Drees coaching. And it's like, there's all these what's he say? Like unknown knowns, known unknown, something like that. So like, I have an idea of it, but I honestly don't know what that person looks like at this time. I don't know like exactly, who would be best for that. So instead of like, well, I need to get this person right now, it's like, no, I'll probably continue operating the business and like continue all the other rungs. And then when I get to that level, that's when I'll be talking to, different people way ahead of me and be like, okay, what's that look like? Maybe I'll, reach out to Brandon Turner again. Hey, what's it look like for the person who's your CEO of Open Door Capital? Like and I'll reach out to other people in the mobile home park space. I've got a lot of good friends who are exactly where I want to be. Hey, what does that look like in terms of your leadership team? And maybe they'll be like, this is what it is for me. Or maybe they'll be like, we don't do that at all. That's totally different than how we do things. But, the more people I can kind of talk to and ask for advice, the more I can get a concrete idea of what that looks like. Maybe it is something we want. Maybe it's not. I don't know yet.
And you have to get to a certain point of scale to where, hiring that sort of stuff makes sense, right? And it's one of those things, I forgot what book I was reading, but it talked about how a majority of companies, when they start to falter, it's because they've hired too quickly. They hired too many people too quickly. Like, you have to make sure that your business is sustaining enough profit to be able to afford that person and bring them on. Otherwise, you end up putting yourself in a hole and everybody loses at that point, right? So, and right now you're enjoying the leadership side too, by the sounds of things, like this is just something that you're liking it. You found the right people on your team. You're doing the things that you need to be doing. So I think you're in a good spot. So I like it. When you're talking to, was it 𝗦𝗽cie, you said, is your partner? Yeah. So when you're talking to 𝗦𝗽cie, how does he kind of look at, how the operations are going and how he sees where hires are going? Are you guys pretty much on the same page on those things, or, or has there been some battles between the two of you guys on who and when to hire?
No battles. It's a very healthy relationship in that it's like, here's what I think. And then, here's what I think. And it's like, okay, how can we make that work? Like, there's never been a time where it's like you're totally wrong. I am definitely, I don't need to be right all the time. That's not something that really I care about at all. Like, I revel almost in being wrong and learning something better, because it's like, okay, well, yeah, you're right. Let's do this a better way. But like, for the most part, we talk a ton during the week. We have a lot of meetings together, like talking about asset management on different things. Yes, he runs operations, but that doesn't mean I'm just like, okay, I'm done. It's like, no, let's make sure that these are running well. And if there's anything I can help with, like, I was just in Japan for 3 weeks and I wasn't on any of these calls because it's 13-hour time difference. And, they killed it. They didn't need me, but like, I still, when I can, when it's not 3 a.m, I still make the calls, and it's like, okay, like, if there's anything I can help with, then I'm there, because the again, we're all rowing in the same direction. We are, if there's anything that I can do to make the people, like the lives of the people working with me, their lives easier, I'm here for it, bro. Like, if there's anything I can do to make this, this asset perform a little bit better, if there's any big conversations I need to have, I will do it. So like, we're all rowing in that same direction.
Love it. Yeah. So first off, I love Japan. Lived there for 3 years. Absolutely love it. I hope you enjoyed your time out there. Yeah.
What part?
I lived just outside of Tokyo.
Nice.
So I'm still in Tokyo Prefecture, but I was at an Air Force base out there. I was actually living there when I bought my first apartment building in Tennessee. So I bought a 62-unit apartment in Tennessee while I was living in Tokyo. So it was that was my very first investment property. But
love it.
But anyways, I love that you were able to just take those 3 weeks, and that's probably set up because you hired an EA, you have a good COO, you've put some systems in place, you're able to run those things, and that's the only way to be able to give yourself that freedom. So congrats on putting yourself in a position to be able to do that as you're even still in growth mode. But Tim, it was awesome getting to chat with you a little bit, learning a little bit about your systems, how you kind of looked at hiring, how the process has been going for you, and even kind of wrapping it up in a bow, being able to say, yeah, I took off for 3 weeks and let them kind of run it. So that's the whole purpose of being able to hire the right people, put them in the right seats, because you can't always be 100% in there all day long. So well done, Tim. If folks are listening to this and they're like, hey, I want to learn more about what you've got going on, I want to hear about this, the tax savings you talked about, whatever the case may be, what's the best way for folks to reach out to you?
So hit us up at 𝗍𝗃investments.com, schedule a call with us, get on our email list, see what we're doing. You could also see me, Instagram, Tim.Woodbridge, Facebook, Tim.Woodbridge.54, I believe. LinkedIn, either Tim.Woodbridge or Tim Woodbridge. I don't remember which one I made, but I'm really not hard to get a hold of. I don't always see things right away, but I will see them and I will respond. One thing I really enjoy is providing value to people and helping in any way I can. So whether or not you're like, well, I don't have, the minimum $50,000, but I really want to get into it, hit me up. Let's talk. I'm approachable. I enjoy talking with people and helping any way I can. So by all means.
Very good. Awesome. So WCGinvestments.com, all the socials, go reach out to Tim if you heard something that you like, if you want to learn some more information. Again, Tim, thank you so very much. Everybody listening, thank you so much for jumping on, listening to us. Please like and subscribe. Give us a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are on the podcast. What was your favorite part? What was your least favorite part? And again, reach out to Tim if there's anything he can do to help you. And we will see everybody on the next show.